I can see those lovely faces. Hello. Okay, I still got 4 cameras off. Need them on. Cameras on, people. Jaden, we can only just see the top of your head. Okay, Siani, we can see one eye. Bring your camera down some so we can see your face. There, that's just your nose now. A little bit more, Siani. Okay. Jason and Karen, can you turn your cameras on, please? Okay, Kara says she'll be back. Oh, you're back. Okay. All right. Jason, I see a lot of medals back there. Did you earn all of those medals?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Congratulations. What
Thank
did
you.
you get them for?
Track.
Oh, okay. I used to be a little bit of a track person myself when I was in uh,
What
junior
events do you
school. I used to run the 220 race. That was my race in the 440
do?
relay. And I had a signature. For some reason, every time I would run and didn't get in the gear, my head would go back like this and I would just shoot away. All right. Okay, so let's get started. Most of you have submitted the impressive person speech. You still got a little bit of time. If you're late, I will accept it. I want you to try it out. I want you to do it. Be reminded, if you did not submit a preparation outline, I'm not going to grade your speech because remember, you need to have that outline, right? I told you that in the beginning to be eligible to speak. So if you didn't submit your preparation outline, there's still time to do it. Okay, so do that so I can grade it. Okay, and you want to remember, these speeches are kind of like a practice workup to those speeches that are worth 20% of your grade. Well, they're worth 20% of your whole grade. Okay. All right. We're going to talk a little bit more about working outlines. I'm going to go over them for your informative speech coming up. But last time, I did ask you all to bring your favorite restaurant menus to class because we're going to use them in an impromptu speech today. So if you don't have it, okay, but you're going to have to get in at the second half of this class and go online and try to find a menu so that you can deliver this speech. Okay. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over a PowerPoint. Release in a minute. First, are there any questions at all about the impressive person speech? Anybody have any questions at all? Remember, if you did not submit that preparation outline, I can't grade it, but there's still time you can submit it. Okay, and don't forget the critiques are due, I believe, tomorrow, the 30th. Yep. tomorrow, the 30th. Okay, can everybody see this PowerPoint? It says supporting your ideas. Okay, great. So today we're going to be talking about how do we support the ideas that we start to use in our speech. How do we support those ideas? How do we support those claims? What do we do? Okay, the roles of supporting material. You want to think of them as evidence. Okay, in an informative speech, you want to clarify and illustrate, explain, and provide examples. In a persuasive speech, you're trying to provide proof of specific points, and you want to back up those arguments that you are making. Now, examples, we use a specific case to illustrate an idea. You use examples your audience will understand. Okay, and it's up to you to explain these things. Now, in a class, in a remote class, you're not going to put up a PowerPoint and now that's going to be your whole speech. We hardly ever see you. We don't see any expressions that we can evaluate from you because you've got this big PowerPoint here that's distracting the audience. So if you decide, because we're going to talk about this a lot more next week about your informative speech, but you're going to have to provide a certain amount of visual aids in that speech. And that does not mean that you're going to just go ahead and give us a PowerPoint. Because if you decide that's what you're going to do, you're not going to get a good grade on that speech. So I'm telling you now, don't plan for that. It's not a good idea in a class like this. All right. So when we talk about this, a couple of type of examples we can use, brief examples, okay, which is when you have a specific case referred to in passing to illustrate a point. You have extended examples, which are more like stories or narratives. We all know about that, right? Because a lot of people who don't know a lot about developing a speech, that's what they want to do, tell a story, okay? Or give a narrative about something, or an anecdote. These are developed at length to illustrate your point. So those are called extended examples. And then you have the hypothetical examples, okay? And these are examples that are describing a fictitious situation to illustrate a point. And we've got examples of them, and I've put them in your, these little brief examples, all right? I've put them in the lesson for this week. So you can go back after class and you can look at these examples so you can get an idea of what we're talking about when we talk about brief examples, extended examples, and hypothetical examples. And I'll show you after we're done where they are. Okay, so some tips that we talk about when we are talking about examples are you want to clarify your ideas. You want to reinforce them. You want to personalize your ideas, make them vivid and richly textured. You want to practice delivery of these ideas, examples that you're going to put up. Okay. Present your ideas to the audience, in easy to understand but vivid language, and let your examples clarify your ideas. One thing you want to make certain of is that you don't want to over saturate your examples, slides, whatever it is you're going to show, statistics. Okay, that brings us to our next type of supporting material, statistics. Okay, we use statistics to illustrate the analysis, comparison, and interpretation of numerical data. The goal is understanding relationship, so slow down when you are presenting statistics. All right. Support. Use statistics to support main points. They're not points just on their own. Source. Always provide the source of your statistics. And graphs. These make the point clear by displaying number relationships graphically. And again, we need to be careful when we are using statistics. Okay? You want to make them meaningful. So in this example, the question is asking, is this graph important? Or is this important? We need to focus on what the audience needs to know. Don't just put stuff up there just because it looks nice. Okay? Because it can be an overstimulant for your audience. Focus on what the audience needs to know. So you see in this slide, we could, since those other things weren't as important, okay, you try to de-emphasize what you don't need. So you want to make sure when you are using statistics that you give your audience a common frame of reference. So some tips on statistics are you want to use them to quantify your ideas. How much? Okay, quantify. You're going to use them sparingly. So don't have a whole bunch of these statistics, slides on statistics, graphs. Okay, you want to use them when they are important. You want to identify your sources, as we said before. Explain thoroughly what it is you're trying to make a point about. You want to round off the numbers when you're using statistics, and use visual aids like graphs and charts. Okay? They should always help illustrate a main point. Testimony. Quotations or paraphrases used to support a point. Okay, you can have expert testimony or you can have peer testimony. Of course, expert testimony is testimony from an expert in the field. And a peer is just from an ordinary person with firsthand experience and insight. We also call that anecdotal. Some tips for testimony are you want to use direct quotes accurately and in context. Okay, because remember, we talked about ethics before, right? And it's very important when you're using these numbers that you don't finagle it in a way that just makes your point, but that's really not what was intended when the uh, statistical information was developed. So keep it in context. You want to paraphrase accurately. Paraphrasing means putting things in your own words, right? Make sure nothing gets lost in the translation from what the statistics actually say and what you're paraphrasing to your audience. You want to use qualified sources. Okay. Now, there is a library tour. There's a couple of them. One is in two parts, and one is just one part. I encourage you to look at that library tour. It's going to really help you with information that you will need to provide for your informative and persuasive speeches. They tell you how to actually go about using the school's databases. Okay. And if you have any questions, the two librarians that are giving these e-tours, they give their information as well so that you can contact them at any time. And if for some reason you don't remember or recall, you can send me an email and I will give you their information as well. Okay, but review it, look at it, look at the videos, understand how do I get this information? Because in this class, I'm not accepting any Wikipedia stuff. I'm not accepting stuff that you just Googled randomly on the internet and now you're providing it as proof. No, that doesn't work. You need to have credible sources. Okay, credible sources. Okay, meaning that they have been observed by someone and proven by someone. Okay, so just remember, if you do try to take that shortcut, and I'm just going to Google this, and I'm going to take off for that because it's not permitted. So don't hand me any information about Wikipedia. Don't hand any of us in this class information about Wikipedia or something that you just randomly got off the internet. Okay. You want to also use unbiased sources. You want to identify the source, of course. Peer testimony requires what extra step? What do you think is an extra step that you're going to have in a peer testimony as opposed to an expert's testimony? What do you think? Anybody? Okay. Credentials and qualifications. That's the extra step you need when you're just using a regular person. Well, what are their credentials to talk about this? How are they qualified to talk about it? So remember that. When you're citing, so all that was to say when we are actually putting it into our bibliography. All right. But you also are going to be required to deliver your sources orally during the speech. You're going to have to talk about it. And these are the four things that you need to make certain that you're doing when you orally cite your sources. You want the name of the document that you're talking about. You want the author or the sponsoring organization. Okay, what are their qualifications? And the date of the information, and it shouldn't be more than 5 years old. Okay, so you might say something like, According to the New York Times, an article in the New York Times authored by Joe Schmo, who is a leading authority in the world on bicycles. Okay. And I might add, when I'm talking about that New York Times article, put the date. In a recent New York Times article published in October of 2022, Joe Schmo, who is the leading expert on bicycles in the world, says you need to make certain when you're riding the bike that you understand what are the safety requirements that you need to use in order to signal others what you're getting ready to do so you don't get hit by a car or a bus. Okay. See the difference? Don't just say, according to a New York Times article, X, Y, and Z. Be very specific about explaining what you are referencing in your sources. And here's an example here. Another example. According to the Education Monthly article, Creating Sustainability with a Paperless Classroom, Professor Utley Herring found mixed results among students in the spring of 2011. See how we've got all that information in there, making the audience or the listener believe that, okay, this is some credible information I can rely on. Here's another example. The Minneapolis Star Tribune of January 31st, 2018 quotes Chris Nowinski, co-founder of the Concussion Legacy Foundation, on the dangers of youth tackle football. Children, he says, were never intended to be hit in the head 500 times in 3 months every year while their brain is going through incredible development. That seems like it's an argument against child contact sports. Remember, you have to cite your sources. Okay, any questions? This PowerPoint is in your lessons. And I'm going to share with you where you can get those. Lesson 5. So in week 5, okay, I'll put the video chat up of our class. Can everybody see this? I'm in week 5, okay. Here's a lot. No, you can't see that. The library tour may be in week 6. Here's the study guide that we just had in case you want to go back and review it. And these are the actual videos that I referred to in the PowerPoint. These are the actual videos. So you can get an example. Let's see an example of how they work. Any questions? You also need to go back into week 5. I told you this last week, okay? Because next week we're going to do our visual aids practice, impromptu speech. So you're going to need to go in here Can everybody see this submission folder with the instructions in there? Yes, no? Yes, okay. All right, so here's some information. You got to find an object around your house, something that you can hold up and show us. Okay, and you're going to inform your classmates on the use of the object. It needs to be 2 to 3 minutes long, meaning no less than 2, no more than 3. Okay, any questions at all
Professor, can you see what I sent to you in the chat?
in the chat? That's up to you, Siani. Okay. Any questions at all about supporting materials? All right, there being none, we're going to actually get into our groups now, and we're going to prepare for an impromptu speech. Okay, so I'm going to put you in groups of 3. Let's see how many people we have today. Okay, let's see how many people we have today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Okay, so I'm going to put you in groups of 2 because we don't have that many people today. All right, so remember I told you about those menus, right? Your restaurant menu. All right, so what we're going to do is each student is going to take a role as a server. And you're going to briefly outline an open, a close, and a body consisting of 2 dinner specials. 2 dinner specials. So you're going to come in with some type of opening as the server. Okay. And we know what things that we do in open. Now, you don't have to have all 5 things, but definitely you probably need an attention getter, definitely need some type of specific purpose, revealing what are you talking about? So, hi, I'm Ruby. I'm here today to take your order. Or you might say, hi, I'm Ruby. Are we hungry? Okay, some type of attention getter. Then state why you're there, what you're going to do. We have some great things on the menu today. That's a preview to the message, right? Oh, I've tasted all the appetizers. They're all delicious, except for I don't know too much about the stuffed mushrooms. They were a little dry. Okay, so in a manner, you all are going to share as 2 people in the group. You're going to share this responsibility. All right. Then, of course, in that body, you're going to tell us about those 2 dinner specials. And then you're going to close something brief. Okay. Basically, probably going to repeat their order, right? And think of some type of thing to close. Any questions about this assignment? No questions? Everybody got your menus? If you don't have one, go online and find one. So you'll know. Or you can just make it up, the menu, if you want to. Okay, ready? Put you in your groups. Oh, I didn't tell you this part, okay? So this is a vocal variety exercise. So you're going to have to use as much vocal variety as you can muster up. Now, this is how I'm going to actually grade this. You're going to have one deliberate pause. So you might want to write this down. One deliberate pause. And we're going to see, can we identify it as listeners? You're going to have two changes in your pitch, two changes in your rate, meaning how fast or slow you're delivering it, and two changes in your volume. Okay, I'll repeat that again. One deliberate pause, two changes in the pitch, two changes in the rate, and two changes in your volume when delivering this speech. And you will decide amongst you who's going to say what. Okay? All righty, let's get into our groups. One, two, three, four groups. Give you 10 minutes for this exercise. 10 minutes.
Miss Utley,
Yes.
are we all supposed to speak or just one person?
So everybody in the group.
Everybody?
There's
Okay.
only two in the group.
Oh, okay, okay.
You have to figure out amongst you who's going to speak. Okay, waiting for 3 more students. Okay. Everybody's back now. Okay, group 1. Andrew and Jaden. Right here. Andrew and Jaden. So remember, 1 deliberate pause, 2 changes in pitch, rate, and volume. Okay, are you all ready, Andrew and Jaden? Ready? Okay, let me try to put it in speaker view. And everybody goes on mute. That way.
You're on mute.
Everybody go on mute except for the 2 speakers.
Well, hello, welcome to Longhorn Steakhouse. I'm your server, Andy, and this is Jaden. He's my trainee for the night. What can we get you guys started with drinks? Okay.
So iced tea and lemonade. And the special of the day is lemon garlic chicken and lobster tossed mac and cheese.
Excellent choice. We'll be right back with those drinks. Thank you, guys.
Okay, is that it? I didn't hear much about that dinner menu, Jaden. You a little scarce there, Jaden.
Oh, it was lemon garlic chicken and lobster tossed mac and cheese.
But you didn't get much information about it, right? Okay. How about pitch, rate, and volume? Did we see any of that? Anybody want to comment?
I heard the pitches change.
Nice.
Okay, for both speakers. Kiara wants to be nice to Jaden. Jaden, you were pretty bland.
I'm not the best public
Yeah,
speaker.
yeah. Okay, we got to work on that, Jaden. Okay, because it is important. If you just stay in the same tone, you don't have any variety to your delivery at all, it does become a bit boring. And then what happens? What do you think happens? You lose your audience's attention, right? We don't want to do that. So you have to practice with that. Practice a lot. Andrew, you did a pretty good job of hitting all of those points. All right. Group 2. So Jaden, we got to work some more on that. And how we do that? Get in front of a mirror and practice, okay? Okay? All right. You giving me the side eye, Jade. I don't know. All right. Amir and Ruby is our next group.
We didn't realize we were supposed to like collaborate and make one. So we both just did our own and
Okay.
practiced together.
All right. That's all right.
All right, so Amir, you want to go first?
Yeah. Alright. Hi, my name is Amir. I'm your server. I'm like a magician. I can make your appetite disappear while you wait for your food. Today we have a special chicken biryani, and which is for $10.99. The other one is pasta, which is for $8.98. Can I have your order, please?
Okay.
Yep, that's it.
All right. Ruby.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ruby. I'll be taking your order today. Is this your first time dining with us? We have a great selection on the menu tonight, including some specials. For starters, we have the coal-fired jumbo pretzel, which is my personal favorite. And for mains, we have the cherry Coke barbecue ribs. Let me know if you guys have any questions about the menu. I'll be back to check on you in a few minutes.
Okay, we'll take Amir first. So, did we hear Amir with pauses at all? Did we get any pauses from Amir? What do you think? What do you think, Amir? Okay. Sometimes we could be our own worst critic, right? That's why I asked you first. Okay. How about change in pitch? Yes? No?
It kind of changed after he said his magic trick to make your appetite disappear. I mean, there was a definite change in tone because then he starts speaking about the items and the prices, you know.
Yeah. I think he had a change in pitch. I think he had a change in rate too, especially when he started talking about the money part of it. He was making that very well known how much it costs. Okay, what about volume? I'd say he had a little change in volume from beginning to end. All right. What about Ruby? Did we see Ruby make any pauses? Jason's shaking his head. Yes, 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 yes. Andrew shaking his head. Okay. How about pitch? Okay. I thought the pitch was kind of the same. It wasn't a dramatic change. What about rate? She did change the rate, especially when she was in the beginning. And she perked up when she knew she was trying to get your attention. Okay. And volume. What do you think, Ruby, about your volume?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. It kind of stayed kind of the same. Okay. Good job, guys. All right. Next up is Evilise and Jason.
So we didn't realize that we were supposed to do like customer servers. So we were both gonna be like servers, like jumping back and forth, kind of explaining like the menu.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's hear what you got.
Hi, welcome to Seasons 52 in Princeton. My name is Evie. I'll be taking care of you today. At Seasons 52, we focus on fresh seasonal ingredients. For example, right now we have some incredible dishes that highlight the best produce available. My personal favorite would be the sesame salmon salad. It's light, it's refreshing, it's packed with flavor. And it's amazing to see how much the guests enjoy these seasonal selections on our menu.
Okay.
Hello, my name. Hello, my name is Jason Santana, and I will also be your server for today. My recommendations will be the mahi mahi tacos, since they're low calorie, just like every other thing on our menu. Yeah, I'll follow.
As a server, I love recommending the mini indulgences. One of our guest favorites is the key lime pie. It's a classical dessert. It has a tangy key lime filling nestled with like graham crackers in the inside. It's just the balance of sweetness and tortness for you.
Is that it? Okay. So right off the bat, I'm gonna say, if I had to ask, is that it? That wasn't a good close, right? Okay. So remember, I have all three parts. Okay, class, what do you think about Evalise's performance in terms of pausing? One deliberate pause. You think she met that bar? Anybody can chime in. Think Evilise met that bar of one pause? Okay, I don't think you met that bar, Evilise, of one pause, deliberate pause. Okay, pitch. What do you think about Evalise's performance on pitch? What do you think, Evilise? You think you changed your pitch?
I think in the beginning my pitch changed.
From the beginning to what?
It was more preppy, like when I was welcoming the guests.
Yeah, you were more enthusiastic then. But one thing I noticed, at the end of every sentence, your pitch did change. And it was a little singy. So I want you to go back and look at that. Because at the end of every sentence, you would say something like, it's today's specials are this, and it's really going to be very good. Today's special is that, but it's really going to be very bad. Like that. You did put emphasis on your last words, the last word that you would say in a sentence. All right. How about rate? I thought you had some changes in your rate for sure. As you said, especially like from the beginning, and then when you started talking about the specials themselves, you kind of slowed down. When you were talking about the specials, because that's really important information, right? So usually when we get to really important information, then we kind of like slow down a little bit to make certain that the listener is receiving what we're trying to say. So you did a good job with that part. How about volume? Volume? Comments? You gotta help out your classmates now. They need to know where you think they can improve. It also helps you as a speaker when you can identify some things in another speaker that, oh, okay, maybe I do that too. Maybe I should try to work on that some more. What about volume? What do you think about volume, Evilise?
For my pausing, I think I did like a slight pause when I was explaining the dessert.
No, your volume.
Oh, my volume?
Yeah, did you go up and down? I think you did.
Yeah, I think I did also.
All right. Now let's go to Jason. What do we think about Jason having one deliberate pause? Do you recall? What do you think, Jason?
I said, my pause was after I said I would be your server too.
Okay. How about your pitch?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think my volume went down after I made the introduction.
Volume, okay. Went down. So you have one change in the volume, right? What
Mm-hmm.
about rate and pitch? Do you think they changed any?
My rate, it
Yeah, I
probably
think your
slowed down.
pitch changed.
Mhm.
I'm not so certain about your volume. Although when you started to finish what you were saying, you did kind of like go down in the volume.
Yeah, I probably went down on the volume and rate too because I wasn't really like familiar with the menu. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, good. Good job. All right. So just make mental notes of these things, even if you weren't the speaker. These are all things that we look for as a listener in your speaker. Okay, last group. Karen and Kiara.
Yeah.
I gotta think. I gotta stop and think about that one again. Okay.
So we're both gonna be servers of like two different restaurants. I'll be going first. Okay. All right. Hi. My name is Giada. I'm gonna be your server today. Now, would we like to start with some appetizers or do we want to just dive right into our entrees? All right, ma'am. So you want to start right in. Some recommendations for sushi. I would recommend either the maki combo or the spicy maki combo. But the maki combo comes only with tuna, yellowtail, and a California versus the spicy that comes with a tuna, a salmon, and a yellowtail, all spicy crunchy, with either a soup or a salad of your choice of miso, wonton, or hot and sour, but the house salad stays the same. And sir, as for the hot entrees, I would recommend the Chilean sea bass with the miso and orange sauce. No, it does not come with a side of either soup or salad. You only get the side of rice. All right. So if you guys still have room, we have some great dessert like fried ice cream, but I'll give you guys a couple minutes and I'll be back for your order.
Okay. That was great, Kiara. What do the rest of the class think?
Great. She hit all the marks.
You had all the marks. All right. And enthusiasm is contagious. It's contagious. As Kiara was being so friendly and kind and expressive and smiling, didn't she make you want to smile? She's cracking up now. But it is contagious. And remember that because as the listener, if you feel like you don't like the listener's attitude, it's going to affect the way you receive that message, isn't it? Yes, it is. But when you feel as though the person is really energetic and lively and friendly and welcoming, you're going to put down some of those barriers as the listener yourself. And you're going to hone in a little bit more on what are they actually saying. Okay. So that vocal variety is very, very important when you are delivering public speaking of any sort. Okay. And as the server, as the waiter, you're really being, I mean, you're giving some information, but you're trying to be a little persuasive too, right? She wanted to get us that dessert. She wanted us to have that dessert. Because the bigger the bill, the bigger the tip, right? Okay. Karen, good job, Kiara. Karen, let's hear what you got.
Okay, so hi guys, welcome to Smokehouse Barbecue, where our meats are made to perfection. Our entrees tonight would be our half chicken or our pulled barbecue sandwiches. They each come with 2 sides. We offer baked beans, mac and cheese, and coleslaw. I can get you 2 Pepsis? Sure, no problem. Is that all for you? Okay. Can I offer you any desserts? Sure, we have our famous smokehouse ice cream, our warm, fresh cookies, and we also have a delicious peach cobbler. Sure, I can add that for you. So that's 1 half chicken, 1 mac and cheese with the collard greens, a pulled pork sandwich, was that? Okay, sure. 1 canned yams, 1 baked beans, and 2 Pepsis. Yes, I can add those. 1 fresh baked cookie and 1 smokehouse ice cream. All right, guys, I'll be right back with you. Okay.
Okay. You guys collaborated pretty well, okay? Because both of you did hit your marks. As quoting Andrew. Okay. Definitely that pitch was changing, the volume was changing constantly, and when you were really trying to convince us, when you said delicious, okay, that was very evident that you were making that case, and I'm sure the listener was buying it. Ooh, it was delicious. Not just delicious, delicious. Okay. So remember, when you're trying to make a point that you believe is important and you want to make sure that that the audience gets it, you need to do something differently than you're doing throughout the rest of the speech. All right, that was a good job, everybody. You did pretty well. I'm proud of you. All right, any questions at all about delivery and vocal variety? We talked about delivery last week a lot. Today we did a little exercise on it. Language is very important. Very important that you use the words that you intend for your audience to receive in a specific manner. Okay. Language use is very important. Words matter, right? Words matter. Okay, any questions at all? That was a good job, everybody. All right, now I want to just briefly, before we leave, talk about what's coming up your informative speech. Now, remember, you're going to have an audience. Okay, and you have to pan the audience, show me the audience prior to speaking. You're going to have visual aids. Now, the 8th of November, your working outline is due for informative speech. And what I've done in the, let me share this with you. Oh, why does this keep coming up? Week 6. Okay, working outline. Now, what I've done is I've created a working outline for a topic of consumption of water. Oops, wrong place. Okay, can everybody see this first draft thoughts? Yes? Somebody? Okay. Okay. All right. So the topic here is consumption of water. And what is our purpose? To inform my audience to better understand the importance of adequate consumption of water daily. Now, the central idea is consumption of water intake is vital to our well-being because it helps us to properly regulate our bodies, but only when we know the adequate amounts of drink and understand the dangers of not having adequate water intake. It's a mouthful. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to do, some of the initial thoughts were, I want to explore why we have to drink water. Why do we have to drink water? Okay, well, I want to explain how much water is considered enough, as well as describe the dangers of not having adequate water intake. Okay, and as you can see, I put my sources down here as well. Just one, because this is still the working outline. We don't know a lot. Okay. See this one. Okay. Now, here's an example of how we take that working outline and try to put it into a preparation outline. Okay, so here we break down that central idea as written and spoken. The written one is 3 steps to better understanding why it's important to consume adequate water daily, or to explore why you need water to exist, how much water to consume, and the consequences of inadequate water consumption. Now, each one of these things that we're talking about could actually be a speech on itself, in and of itself. Now, I take this written central idea with those specific 3 main points that I want to talk about, and I put it in something that is more conversational. Adequate daily water intake is vital to our well-being because, like all forms of life, humans too cannot exist without it. All right. Do you see how these ideas that were clearly in the beginning separate ideas on their own as to what the three main points you're going to hit on, as opposed to how I took those three main ideas as, okay, so what is it that I'm really trying to say here? Can I say it succinctly, concisely, in one single declarative sentence that's not really wordy? Okay, we're talking about water intake at being adequate. We have to have it. It's vital. We can't live without it. Okay. Everybody getting this? Then I go into the introduction. We're just going to look at the introduction first today. And we're going to come back to this again next week as well. Okay? So the attention getter I used was, I'm going to show an image of a dead plant and state. See this plant? It doesn't look too good right now, does it? All right. This is an attention getter because somebody is going to say, well, what's she doing with that dead plant? What's she talking about? What is going on here? Now, in your working outline for the attention getter, you might just only write this part that says, show an image of a dead plant. Okay? Because remember, in the working outline, you need to have direction. What am I going to do? That should also be included. Remember, this speech, this informative speech, you're going to have a lot of visuals you're required to show. Okay. So make sure you go in and you read the parameters of the informative speech. I'm going to first work on that outline, a working outline first. Broad ideas, what I want to talk about. So everybody should be working on their topic this week, because next week you're going to have to hand in your outline. So it's important. Review the library tour to see how do I access the school's databases, because that's what the professor is looking for, scholarly sources. Okay. Periodicals, articles from credible sources. You get those from the school's databases, not from the internet. All right. Reveal and relate. A reasonable person might assume that it didn't get an adequate supply of water. Now I'm relating. Okay, how does this relate back to the attention getter or to the audience? Well, I'm talking about reasonable people. That's most of the people in the audience, right? Some might even give up all hope on its survival rate and consider it dead and trash it. Adequate daily water intake is vital to our well-being because, like all forms of life, humans too cannot maintain a healthy existence without it. Credibility. Throughout my extensive research on this topic, okay, I'm telling why I'm credible to talk about it. Over the past 3 weeks, how long I've been doing this for 3 weeks and researching this information. I have learned that experts agree that too many people don't drink enough water daily and maintain dangerously low levels of water for a sustained healthy mind and by. Today, we will explore why we have to drink the water, how much water we need to drink, and what happens to our bodies when we don't drink enough. Now it's totally clear, right? You got all the information you need now to move into the body. And a lot of times, as I think I've already told you before, a lot of times, and it says transition here, but it really should say the word connective. Okay, connective. Let's start with 3 reasons why it's essentially to adequately drink water daily. This says transition, but why isn't it not a transition? It's a connective, it should say. But the type of connective, what type of connective is this? Let's start with 3 reasons why it is essential to adequately drink water daily. What type of connective is that? Okay, so I'm going to answer the question for you, but you need to know this, right? It's an internal preview because it's talking about what we're getting ready to talk about. It's not a transition, a pure transition, because it only talks about what we're getting ready to talk about. Transitions talk about what we just finished and what we're getting ready to talk about. Both. Okay? What's an internal summary? I need somebody to answer this question for me. What is an internal summary? Take a guess. If I told you that the internal preview was what we're getting ready to talk about, what do you think the internal summary is?
It's like a review of what you just talked about.
Yes. Okay. And then signpost, that was the last type we talked about. And we said that's where we tell exactly where we are in the speech. And a lot of times it's just numbers. First, second, last, third, finally. That's a signpost. All are connectives that move us from either one part of the speech to the next part of the speech, or between ideas, between main points. Okay. All right. So that's a little tool there for you to sample. Now remember, any samples that I give you in class, that means you can't speak about it. So we can't have any speeches on the consumption of water. All right. Here, can everybody still see this lessons? Because I did move back to it. Can you see lessons now, or are we still on the actual speech? Lessons, okay. So here, assignment parameters. Make sure you probably gonna need to print this document and keep it with you so you'll know what is expected of me. Here it is. Everything that's required in that informative speech. Okay. If you have any questions, let me know. We can let everybody know what the question was. We can come back and visit this again next week. Okay, any questions about anything we talked about today? Jaden, Ruby, Andy, Jason, Karen, and Amir. All right, so I'm gonna let you go. That's it. That's all I have for today. Have a wonderful week. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. If you need a Zoom to talk about some things, just send me an email and we can figure out a scheduled time that we can meet. All right. So when you see where I say I don't have office hour on a specific day, still contact me because it may be that day I am free. Not always. Usually I have something to do on those days that I can't. But you can always ask me and I'll try to make some time for you if I can, if I'm in town. All right. Any questions at all from anybody? You guys did a great job today. You guys did a great job. Have a nice week, everybody.
Have a good week.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Karen. You too.